This is the 107th Taiku. A Taiku is an unanswered question. A Taiku is an unresolved question. And there is a tradition in the Talmud. Those who study the Talmud know this tradition that every time that there is a Taiku, it means that we don't have an answer until the Messiah comes. And the tradition is that we need to wait until the Messiah comes, and it is Elijah the prophet who answers the question. And there's a book written by a rabbi by the name of Rabbi Aharon Yehoshua Pessin, and he compiled all of these Taikus that are in the Babylonian Talmud. And his book lists 317 of these Taikus. And I thought that was a really interesting idea. And so I'm basing it off his book and going one by one, all these Taikus. And he lists 317 Taikus, and I came up with an idea. Out of all times, it was on Yom Kippur. Interestingly enough, that if I have my own unanswered question, it can also be a Taiku, right? I mean, Taikus originated in the Gemara, but we all have our Taikus, right? Our own questions that we wish we had the answer to, and we would love to have them answered. And do we need to wait for the Messiah to come? And for Elijah the prophet to answer them? Okay, so that's how I developed the idea of the 318th Taiku. Because there's 317, but the 318th Taiku is, for me, why is it Taka? That's a little bit of a pun there, like Taiku and Taka. Why is it, that means like actually, Taka. Why is it actually that Elijah the prophet, Eliyahu Hanavi, is the one who answers the questions? If the Messiah is the ultimate Torah teacher, should it not be that the Messiah answers each Taiku? What's your take? So, the 319th Taiku is, I was looking for the source and I found it, that it might be good to read it directly from the source. Kol hanaviim kulan lo nitnabu ela liyamot hamashiach. That, I think it's from Chia Amr Yochanan. Kol hanaviim kulan lo nitnabu ela liyamot hamashiach. All of the prophets in their entirety prophesied not, but only for the days of the Messiah. So that would seem to imply to me that the topic of the Messiah is really important, right? Really important. So if you go through the Talmud, you'll find a tractate on Chol HaMoed. You'll find a tractate on divorces. Well, that's pretty big, but I'm thinking of something that's really more niche. You find a tractate for just about everything. From the sacrifices that's where we're in right now, Zavachim and Chulin, Chulin is much more mundane, like regular meat, or menachos, okay, minchas, a whole tractate just on minchas, okay. You have tractates that deal with everything, just about everything. And if the Messiah is so important that all of the prophets in their entirety prophesied only about the coming of Messiah, then why is there no tractate Mashiach? There is no tractate Mashiach in the Talmud Bavli or Yerushalmi. So that's the 319th Taiku that I'm still waiting for the answer for. There is some scant coverage. I mean, the Talmud does talk about the topic of Mashiach. It gets some scant coverage, a few daf in Sanhedrin, Perek HaChelek, but 4 daf, I mean, that it? That's all you give to the Messiah? 4 daf in Gemara? Does the Messiah not deserve his own Masechta? Why is there no Masechtas Mashiach? Can anyone answer that? What is the reason that there is no tractate Mashiach? Okay, that being said, let's go on to the 107th Taiku. By the way, in English Gematria, the word the Messiah, The, if you do a cipher of A equals 1, B equals 2, C equals 3, the word The equals 33, and Messiah equals 74. What's 33 plus 74? 107. The reason why I thought about that is because we're on Taiku 107, so I thought about saying this idea. The Messiah is equal to 107 in English Gematria. And there's a word in English called atonement. We just passed by the Day of Atonement. It's spelled, you can break it up into 3 words: at, one, meant. If you apply the English Gematria cipher to the word atonement, very interestingly, you'll come up with the result of exactly no less and no more than the number 107. So the question is there a connection between the word, between the Messiah, which equals 107, and the word atonement, which equals 107? It's a question. It's maybe it's the 320th Taiku, but maybe not. It's not. So let's continue in the 107th Taiku, which appears, as soon as I find it, I got on the wrong page here. It appears in Tractate Gittin, page 63b, according to Rabbi Aaron Yeshua Pesach, with the words, Boy mina Rav Nachman, kis hutnu shliach mahu, saloke saliklahu o dilma litichadidu chayesh. Rava raised a dilemma before Rav Nachman in a case where the husband said to witnesses, write a bill of divorce and give it to an agent. What is the halacha? Did the husband exclude them once they gave the bill of divorce to the agent and they are no longer eligible to write another bill of divorce? Or perhaps the husband was concerned only about sparing them from their exertions, and that is why he instructed them to hand the document to an agent rather than deliver it themselves. Therefore, their agency remains in effect, and if necessary, they can continue writing bills of divorce until the divorce takes effect. Amar le Ravina Ravashi vayolich lamahu teiku. Ravina said to Ravashi, elaborating on the previous dilemma, if the husband said to the witnesses, write a bill of divorce and give it to an agent, and he will deliver it to her, what is the halacha? Does the added expression and he will deliver it to her, indicate that their agency remains in effect until the agent actually delivers the bill of divorce to her? Or perhaps that is not the meaning of the phrase, and their agency ends with the writing. The Gemara concludes the dilemma shall stand unresolved until the coming of Messiah, when Elijah the prophet, and why not the Messiah? I don't know. Elijah the prophet answers the Taiku. Maybe soon and in our day.